Okay. Let me go to my channel. Good. Bada bing, bada boom. Do.
Man,
All right.
Zeke wore me out today. Like, he
Oh
was
yeah.
awful.
Just being a handful.
Yeah, man. Just being absolutely wild.
That sounds about right for him.
Yep.
Okay. What else do I need to do? I think that's everything. Okay. We're live. We're rolling. You ready to roll, man?
I'm ready.
And just like that, somewhere the 1972 Miami Dolphins are celebrating as another undefeated team goes down. The Commanders with the big win over the Eagles on Monday Night Football. We had a couple overtime thrillers. It was a good week. Welcome back to another episode of Booth Review. As always, I'm your host, Devin Primrose, joined by my brother from another mother, Mr. Blake Ivy. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. To be honest, I'm tired.
I hear you.
Wore me out today. I was just telling you that right before we started. He was a little bit of a monster today, and so Maddie and I were like, "This is he was just a lot. He was a lot. We'll just say that." But hey, the weather is cold and beautiful outside.
Well, it wasn't
And by
today.
beautiful, it was rainy, but it was like the fact that it was cold is beautiful to
Yeah.
me. Um, so yeah, it was a crazy weekend of football as per usual. What about you, man? How you been?
I'm good, man. I've been tired. Uh just work today was a lot. Work tomorrow's gonna be a lot. It's that time of the year where we're just really busy with the holidays and everything coming up. So people
Yeah.
wanting to get rid of their junk. Um
Yep.
but yeah, I'm good, man. Played a disc golf tournament on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did not do as good as I would have hoped, but um, you know, got some learning experience, lessons learned, just how to keep my composure in tournaments and like not get in my own head, which is what happened. But it is what it is. Got to witness some good football on Sunday. I mean,
Yep.
this might have been like the best week of the year so far. There was a lot of really good
There were.
a lot of really good games and like meaningful games.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun, man. It was a good weekend.
Are you warming back up to the Packers now that they beat
Um,
one of the best teams in the league?
I'm still, I'm not actively rooting for them. I will say that. I'm not against it.
Right.
Like, I'm taking this year as just like a fan of football. Like the game last night, the Monday Night Football game, is probably the most invested I've been in a game all season.
Yeah, probably. You were rooting hard for the commies, man. You were rooting hard.
Hey, Heidi's my boy, man. I
He
gotta root
is.
for him. He had a
That's
good
that
showing.
Maybe that should be your team.
Well, Peter posted that in the Discord yesterday, and I was like, maybe if Snyder actually sells the team, then I'll
Yeah, there
hop
you
on
go.
board. I can't do it with the current owner. He's an
Yeah,
awful owner.
right.
So I can't do it. But
It's
I
fair.
I like that team. That team's got a lot of good things going, man. I mean, obviously they got a lot of good going because they got a win over the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles.
They did. It was a game. I was with you when you were picking that. You were like, did you pick them to win?
No,
No, but you
I said last week that I went through my whole spiel and I was like, part of me really wants to pick
right.
Washington. And I wish I had the cojones to do it. And
Yep.
then I didn't do it. And I wish I had.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
felt
I mean,
it coming.
yeah. I was with you that like it felt like it was about time for them to drop a game, but I
Yeah.
just didn't see it coming against that team. I mean, that was and like it really was one of those. I've learned this phrase from watching Ted Lasso that just sometimes it's just unlucky. Like that's what that game was. Like for the Eagles, those poor Eagles, man. Like it was just an unlucky game. You have that weird fumble by which receiver was that fumbled it at the end there? That
I
he
don't remember. It wasn't Devonta or AJ Brown.
no.
I don't remember who it
Um
was.
I can't remember. And then so you had that weird fumble there by the receiver at the end, and then you had I mean, really like flagrant face mask missed call that
Yes.
like I just felt so bad for Dallas Goddard. Like his neck is being pulled down and then he gets like car wreck hit from the back. Like, yeah, he dropped the football. Are you kidding?
The
Like,
the officiating was very bad in this game.
yeah,
I think that uh, Philly fans are going to argue that it went more so against them, but there was also some bad calls that went Washington's way. So I
yeah.
don't think it necessarily went one way or the other. But
It
Philly,
didn't it didn't feel egregious to me, for sure.
right, and Philly just like you said, they were unlucky with the calls that were made when they were made, or
Yeah,
in the missed face mask when they weren't made. And
yeah,
it's stupid that the NFL will not bring in a sky judge to fix those errors. That's
yeah,
something that the XFL did a great job of, was having a sky judge that could literally, after a play was done, before the next play is snapped, say, whoa, 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 wait up. There was a penalty that we missed.
yeah,
Why can't the NFL do that? That didn't
yeah,
take, like, it doesn't, I feel like the NFL just thinks that it's going to add, like, a million minutes onto to these games, and it doesn't. Like, you
no,
just literally have someone in the booth that is an official watching the game just like all of us.
yep,
And so when something like that happens, they can say, hey, we missed this. This is a flag. Call it.
yeah.
And then, that negates the turnover, which is
Or
what should have happened.
or at the very least, like, make it to where when you're reviewing it, it's like, "Oh, we missed this."
Right.
So,
Right.
face mask,
Right.
you know?
I don't
Um,
understand the reason why that's not the case. It is very stupid.
yeah. I mean, I do think that then you would have coaches, like, reviewing random things to get other calls, you know what I'm saying? But it so I get that part of it, but, yeah, watching that game last night, to me, it wasn't a case of necessarily the Commanders being a better team. It
Right.
was just the Eagles. They just had it just happened to be a night like nobody played particularly bad, I would say, other than maybe their defense. It was like, Eagles defense, what are you doing? Like
Right.
they're just but
But
obviously also time of possession. They got whooped.
and
Um,
so since we're bringing all that up, I'll just jump into my best of the booth,
there
because
you go.
my best of the booth is this Commander's game plan going into this game.
Yeah.
They did not go out there with the intent of making flashy plays or pushing the ball downfield. They came in there wanting to keep the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands as much as possible, which understandably so. And that's exactly what they did. There was no flash to the Commanders' offense. There was no pizzazz. It was just 3 to 4 yard gains of play and using up every single second of the play clock of the play clock. Might have to do some editing there.
Whoop, whoop.
They controlled every aspect of the clock, possessing the ball for a ridiculous 40 minutes compared to Philly's 19 and a half. They ran a total of 81 plays. 49 of those were on the ground for 152 rushing yards, or just 3.1 yards per carry. Not a massive amount of yards per carry. They just did what they had to do. No intent of pushing the ball downfield, content to just pick up 3 to 4 yards down and keep the Eagles' offense off the field. I thought that was an incredibly smart move. And, like, obviously, if you go into the game with that game plan and it doesn't work, well, then you're screwed. But it happened to work out. Brian Robinson did perfectly fine. Antonio Gibson coming in there to spell him did perfectly fine. They just had a very good, smart offensive game plan, and they knew the limits of the quarterback that they had. Now, I say limits because Taylor Heinicke is not a super talented quarterback, but he did what he had to do, and he made the big plays when he had to make them, such as the 60-yard, I think it was like 50 and some change, yard pass to Terry McLaurin down the sidelines. They, much needed to get them down to field goal range. Dropped a dime right into his hands where only he could catch it. And as the game went on, their defense stepped up and forced some key turnovers late in the game, but outside of that, the defense wasn't dominant. They just did their job. They did what they had to do to get the win. I don't know what else to say. Just a great overall job, Commanders, of being efficient on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you. And my best of the booth is kind of similar. Like, I wanted to go with a full team because, to me, the Minnesota Vikings coming out and proving that they are top of the NFL, like, hey, we belong with the big boys. It to me, it was just it was such a great team win, but I did want to narrow it down, so I narrowed it down to 4 letters: PP and JJ. PP and JJ, Patrick Peterson, looking vintage like a young buck and not an old bull like he is, looking like a young buck, had 2 picks against Josh Allen, who is the poster boy of top quarterback in the NFL, right? Had 2 picks against one of the top dogs. Then there's JJ the jet plane, Justin Jefferson. I really think they were saying it during the broadcast. I really do think that we might be looking at one of the greatest receivers of all time. Like, he really is unbelievable, the things that he can do. And like, coming into this season, I was like, man, why is everybody so high on this kid? Like, I don't know if you remember me saying that I was like, I mean, yeah, he's good, but like, let's calm down. My bad. This dude is unreal. The stuff that he's able to do. He had 10 catches for 193 yards. One of those being that 4th down. Like, he just went up and made a play.
4th and 18. 4th and 18.
It's not even like, I really do think Kirk Cousins is just like, I don't care. He's there. I'm throwing it, and Justin Jefferson will come down with it. And it was so best of the booth to PP and JJ. They did fantastic. That whole Vikings team was great on Sunday, but especially those 2 dudes that really were dominant and kind of, if you were given a game ball to each side of the ball, I think those would be the 2 guys that would get it. So
there was a great shot that ESPN shared of that play where literally I don't remember which defender it was that was. I mean, there was 2 or 3 that were on it, but I don't remember which defender it was. But the defender had both of his hands on the ball. And Justin Jefferson had one hand just wrapped around it, bringing it down. Like, just how do you do that? Just unreal.
A freak. He's a freak, man.
Yeah, I did pick the Vikings in that game. I did get that one.
You did?
I had that one.
You were correct. You caught me on 2 of 3 we agreed on this week.
They've just flown under the radar, just quietly taking care of business. And I feel like this team deserves...
Now, again, you talk about unlucky. The Bills lost that game because they fumbled the snap on the 0-yard line.
Yes, but literally the play before that, Kirk Cousins got over that line, and they called him short. Yes, 100%. 100%.
You are in the
100%.
minority there.
No, I don't think
When
I
his
am.
knee went down, the ball was not in the end zone.
Nah, I disagree.
That was the right call.
I disagree with that.
They made the right call because he didn't have the ball where his helmet was. He had the ball at his chest.
Nah, man.
And when he was down, nah.
100%.
100%. I need to check the tape on this. I need to check the tape on this because that cannot be.
I mean, the defense did what they had to do. I mean, yeah, it was a bad snap, but like they still got back there to get the ball. So I don't think it's incredibly unlucky on the Bills side. Like the Vikings earned that win. They put a lot into that to earn that win.
No, I'm with you on that. That's why I gave them credit, is that like they absolutely did put themselves in the position to win the game.
Right.
But then like it was just an unlucky break the way it went for the Bills. And and to be honest, I'm a little glad Minnesota won because what was it that they got kind of like cheated out of? Now that I'm talking about it. Because I was like, man, I feel like I'm glad they were able to win because I don't even remember. Oh, the Gabe Davis catch that wasn't a catch.
Oh, yes.
That's what it was.
Yes.
That they were like, to me, that was like, okay, they kind of got screwed on that.
Yes.
Like, I do think that they like they shouldn't have called that a catch. So to
it's
me,
it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah. So I do think like, so that aspect of it, I was glad that they were able to win because they should not have given them that.
Yeah.
But I do think that it is one of those just like unlucky. You talk about I think they said that that's the second time in NFL history that a game has been lost like that. That like you have to do one play and get the ball out of the end zone and you fumble the snap and lose on a QB sneak. Like,
well, that wasn't the way they lost it, because they lost it in overtime.
That's true. Like, okay.
That was for the Commanders went up at that point, and the Bills had to come back and kick a field goal to force overtime.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I got my timeline mixed up.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was just like they should have been able to win that game, and
Right.
they like just at such an unlucky play at that moment.
Yeah.
To lose them the game, or to be able to give the Vikings the lead in that moment was crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, all that to say, I don't want to take anything away from the Vikings. I'm not trying to do that either.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that this win from the Vikings really should discredit the Bills much, because
no, I agree.
The Bills played excellently despite Josh Allen's struggles.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was not very good.
Yeah. It was a overall just very good back and forth game.
Yeah.
Between two very good teams.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we get that in the Super Bowl, I'd be happy with that. I mean, that's definitely, in my opinion, game of the year thus far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
absolutely.
very, very, very good.
Like, to me, that game was up there with the KFC Bills game last year. Like, it was like, I'm not saying it was quite that good, but it was like, it was pretty close.
Yeah. It was really, really well done. So who do you got under review?
Under review, I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys run defense. And I'm gonna do something I don't always like to do, because I know that under review we're really supposed to only be looking at this week, but this week, to me, what I'm starting to see is what in the business they call a trend. A trend.
In the business, that's what
in
they
the
do
business, in every business. That's why I said the business. All of businesses in the business. they call it a trend. So before the bye week, again, I know I don't normally like to go into the past and under review. Before the bye week, the Cowboys gave up 240 yards on the ground to the Chicago Bears. 240 yards. This
Mm-hmm.
week, they faced the Green Bay Packers, who, honestly, I thought you could have put them best of the booth for that game plan. Turn Aaron Rodgers into a game manager, let A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones be one of the top running back duos in the league. They rushed for 207 yards on Sunday against this Dallas Cowboys defense, who is supposed to be one of the best defensive units in the league. So I got to put them under review. Like, if you're going to be one of the most feared defenses in the league, you can't just give up on the run game. Like, you have to be able to stop the run. Micah Parsons,
Right.
who cares? Who cares if he can get to the quarterback if he's also letting running backs just blow by him? If he's getting blown up off the block by an offensive tackle so that his running back can get to the next level, it doesn't matter how good he is at getting pressure on the quarterback. If every team has seen this, honestly, I think that's what we might be watching a turn happen with the Dallas Cowboys. That teams are like, okay, we'll just run it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So, and I thought about putting Mike McCarthy in here because of his decision. I was like, well, they didn't run the ball enough. He gave the ball to Tony Pollard 22 times. I mean, it wasn't like his game plan wasn't let's turn Dak into a game manager. It was just that his defense was completely inept. So, yeah, I went Cowboys run defense. However that works, and to be honest, I don't really know how to defend the run. I have no idea. Nothing. I don't know. Do you I know you stack the box, but like do you I think blitzing is bad, but I'm not sure. I don't know. It's to me when I play Madden, it's like I just have to hope that I stop the run.
Yeah.
It's like maybe they'll stop the run. But Cowboys run defense, you're under review.
Yeah. Yeah.
Under
Well,
review.
I mean, you brought him up, but my under review is Mike McCarthy, and it's for one play, in overtime, you're in field goal range, you're on the Green Bay 35, it's 4th and 3. What do? You decide to go for it instead of kicking the field goal. Kick
Yep.
the field goal and then put your defense out there and let him get a stop, or if it ends in a tie, it ends in a tie. Don't get aggressive when it's 4th and 3 and you're in field goal range and go for it in overtime.
That was their first possession though, right? Like so Green Bay could have.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like if they kick a field goal, Green Bay gets the ball, they then have to go down the field and they kick a field goal, it's tie game, it's sudden death.
Well, at that point it was 28-28, right?
Correct. Yes.
So at that point you have if you're putting yourself in Mike McCarthy's shoes, right? Both of these offenses are scoring. Both of the offenses are playing better than the defenses, right?
Sure.
Like if you've given up 28 points, the offense is winning. So would you rather leave it up to your offense, which has been clicking, or kick a field goal and turn it back over to their offense, which has been clicking and had success against your defense?
Yeah.
We talk about like the
your
situational
offense-
awareness
your
of like
offense-
when to go for it on 4th.
Right, but your offense didn't score a single point in the fourth quarter. Not a single point in the fourth quarter.
That's true.
What are you doing running a play on 4th and 3 instead of kicking a field goal?
Yeah.
Green Bay was down 28-14 going into the fourth quarter and scored 17 unanswered points to win that game. Which, at that point, I think Mike McCarthy is thinking, okay, well, my defense can't stop them. I have to go for the win and get a touchdown. Which, okay, sure, but kick the field goal. All you've got to do is hold them to a field goal and you tie and walk out there with a tie.
Do you think that some of it was that it's Mike McCarthy and he was scared of Aaron Rodgers? Because he, like, of everybody in the whole world
possibly,
who knows what Aaron Rodgers can do, it's Mike McCarthy.
That's fair.
So do you think that he was like, you mean I could try to win it here or I could kick a field goal and give the ball back to that guy.
I think it's just a mistake. That's what I think it was. I think that he knew it as soon as that play was over with. The way that he threw his headset off and onto the ground, he knew that he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
It's just a bad
Yeah,
call.
I mean, yeah, I normally don't like it, but I just wanted to play devil's advocate and say, you know what, like in that situation, I can understand the call that it's like your offense is playing well, their offense is playing well. You ride the hot hand or give the ball to Aaron Rodgers against you. Like I think that I think he was probably like, I don't want to give the ball to Aaron.
You've got one of the
He's gonna
best.
beat me.
You've got one of the best defenses in the league, though. Like you have to trust your defense. I don't care if they let you down that day. Like you still you trust them in that moment to go out there and at least hold them to a field goal. Because if you hold them to a field goal, you get the ball back. If you go down and score, you win the game.
Yeah.
Whether that no matter if it's field goal or touchdown.
Yeah,
it's
you at
death.
least put yourself in the driver's seat.
Right.
Yeah.
All you're asking of your defense is to hold them to field goal. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it was a bad call.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Do we have a legit or counterfeit this week?
I have a legit or counterfeit for you this week.
All right.
As always, I have hypotheticals and just questions that my brain thinks about when I'm alone. So legit or counterfeit on this statement. As of right now in the NFL, having a sturdy run game is more important than having a passing game. Legit or counterfeit?
I mean, with the way that the NFL is trending in 2022, legit, 100%. You look. I mean, again, you look at what Washington did against Philly last night. Philly was not prepared for that. They were not. They were not ready to be dominated in time of possession like that.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because that offense is so explosive, it can go out there and score, in 2-minute drives.
Yeah.
But Washington was able to slow things down, keep the game on their terms, control the clock because of their run game.
Yep.
So I think that when you have, because of the explosiveness of top tier offenses nowadays, you look at what Patrick Mahomes and his receivers do in Kansas City, what Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs do in Buffalo, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle down in Miami. Like if you can keep the ball out of those guys' hands and control the clock, then it absolutely gives you a chance to win. More so than having, I don't know. I think that if you can control the clock and not let a game turn into a shootout, then you better your chances.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you look at the teams that won this weekend, and so much of it was done on the back of the running game. And really, if the Bills could run the ball,
yes,
I don't think they end up in that position.
Yeah.
But like they had a series, they brought it up on 92.9 The Game today. They had a series where maybe it was it that last drive? I think it was that last drive when he threw the interception that it was like 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. And they threw it every time.
Yeah.
And it's like if you had the confidence to hand the ball to a running back, you win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think that you look at the best teams in the league; they have both. They have an explosive passing attack and a very good run game.
Yeah,
that's what the Bengals did so well last year, going into the taking them to the Super Bowl. They had an explosive passing game mixed with Joe Mixon on the ground. I think he was top 3 in the league in rushing yards.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think if it's me, I would rather have the run attack.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that what's so interesting is how the NFL has become. Everybody wants the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allen, and honestly, I think if you look at Justin Fields, I get in a lot of Twitter arguments about Justin Fields. if you look at Justin Fields, I think everybody's expectation with him was he's going to come in and be the next Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen type quarterback.
Right.
And he's not, but what he is, there's nothing wrong with it. Like what he's able to get you on the ground
Yeah.
to do to like make your run game so much more explosive. It changes the way the game is played. And and defenses are built right now with kind of smaller, faster linebackers. Like you don't have those big, gritty run stuffers in the middle as
Right.
much as you used to. Like you think about like Ray Lewis. I think Ray Lewis probably would have been too big for today's NFL. Now that's an outlandish statement. Okay, I understand this. I think that Ray Lewis could come back probably today and be better than any of the linebackers the Falcons have on the roster. But what I mean is the prototypical way the game is played is so much different. I wonder if there's been this overcorrection by defenses to so strongly play against the pass that now when teams decide we're going to run the ball down your throat, they're not built for it, you know? And
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see if this is a trend that we see continue past this year. That are we looking at a shift to where teams like the Falcons, the Titans, the Bears, I mean, even the Vikings have a leg up on it because while they do have an explosive passing attack, Dalvin
Dalvin
Cook
Cook.
had what, like a 60-something yard run on
Yeah.
Sunday?
Yeah.
So, like the fact that they have a guy who can just absolutely dominate the ground game, I think that's going to be so much bigger. And I think teams will get to where if we can have an elite running attack and a strong explosive passing attack,
Yeah.
then but even though it's sporadic. Like I think with the Falcons, I think that's what the Falcons are trying to become is what the Titans were when Arthur Smith was there, which is Derrick Henry, lull you to sleep, AJ Brown. Like
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be a let's air it out every play, but yeah, so I'll be interested to see if that's what the NFL moves to is more of that style offense like Justin Fields runs. That it's like
Yeah.
we're going to run the ball and then we're going to run a passing play and you're going to have to be a little off balance cuz you've stuffed the box. And now Cole
Yeah.
Kmet's going to get out there and be able to catch a 25-yard pass because you were trying to stop the run.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do think that the tough part about that is going to be, um, I think if that trend continues to where there's such a push in going more to the run game, you're going to see probably something similar to what San Francisco has done with their wide receivers so well and getting them mixed into the run game. Because
Yeah.
take Atlanta for example, like Drake London has the ability to be a potential star for that team
Yeah.
and a big time playmaker. You're going to want to get him the ball as often as
Right.
possible. But if you don't have a competent quarterback back there, which Mariota is not at this point,
No.
then that makes life difficult for that. So if you can find ways of getting creative and getting them worked into the rushing game, very similar to how San Francisco uses Debo Samuel, and you saw it some last night with Washington, the way they use Curtis Samuel out of the backfield. Like I think that that's going to be a trend to watch in offenses moving forward as well.
Yeah. But even even like the screen game complements the run game so well
Right.
because it widens the defense. And so
Yeah.
they can't stuff inside as much because if you're gonna throw a screen to Kyle Pitts or Drake London, like you gotta be ready for that too. So anyway, yeah, I would
Yeah.
say legit. I think that we're seeing weaknesses in teams like the Bills, that it's like they can't run the ball. The Chiefs too, that it's like they can't run the ball. So they become one dimensional. It allows teams to game plan for one thing and not have to worry about the other. That it's like, that's fine. You can run the ball all you want on us, Kansas City,
Yeah.
because you're not going to average 4 yards a carry.
Right.
And so Yeah, I think that, and now again, those two teams have the quarterback that kind of that really makes up for it. That
Yeah.
it's like, you know, okay, well, you can go ahead and defend the pass all you want. Not going to do you any good. Um,
Right. Which is
so
what I mean. That's what Rodgers has been for so long of his career, and now he's not able to do that because of the weapons, the lack thereof that he has, and so they've had to kind of change it to what they did on Sunday with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon.
and that opened it up for Christian
Right.
Watson to have a
Right.
3 touchdown game.
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Maybe if he'd been doing that for the 9 previous weeks, Green Bay would be okay.
You'd still have a blanket hanging on your wall.
Maybe, man. I don't know. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they were talking about how this year is the average game time is the shortest it's been since 1987
Wow.
because of the elevation of the run game.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's crazy.
I love
It's just old school football.
Yeah, man. Pound it.
Oh man.
I love it, man. Pounding it straight into the D. Just pounding it and D, man. That's it. That's count me in.
Well,
I am. Anyway,
I'd say it's time we put week 10 in the rear view and move on over to week 11. And we have the debut of a song for our Getting Picky With It segment.
Getting picky with it. Getting picky with it. Getting picky with it. Getting picky with it.
That's right. We're getting picky with it. We're going high quality around here.
high
with
quality,
our,
man.
up in our.
I can't hear it
quality.
when you do it.
I know.
I had to unmute.
I thought about that.
unmuted on YouTube over here. It sounds good. I like it.
I thought about that. I was like, oh well. He's just gonna
It's
have to deal with it.
I'll just have to watch you dance and then know when you're done.
What are our records looking like so far?
Man, I haven't been doing the math, but I know that I'm up. So if you got 2 and I got 1, that means you caught me 1 game this last week. So you gained a game. So I'm up 3 games. That's what I'm keeping track of, is how bad I'm beating you.
All right. If only
Right.
if only I'd had the cojones to pick the Commanders.
And they're right, because we disagreed last week on Vikings Bills. You got me there. Colts Raiders. You got me there. Which props to you, man. You got that one.
Hey,
And
props to Jeff Saturday.
And then we both picked the Cards and the Rams, which that was maybe the worst game in NFL history on Sunday.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. Like, just okay, here's my question: is if we both knew the backups were in, who would you have picked?
Tie.
What's funny is I probably would have switched over to the Rams and have been like, I don't know, maybe the Rams defense? But then I was thinking about it, I'm like, but the Cardinals do have a running game. So.
I probably would have gone with the Cardinals simply because Colt McCoy is a better backup than John Walford.
Yeah.
I mean, John Walford's he's an AAF star.
I was about to say, which one was he?
Yeah.
I knew he was in one of the spring leagues. But I couldn't
Arizona Hot Shots.
Hey.
Yeah. Great name. Not a great quarterback. But let's move over to week 11, starting us off over on Thursday night on Amazon Prime. We got the Tennessee Titans running their way into Lambeau, take on the Green Bay Packers. Maybe a tide is turning for this Green Bay team. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with the information that I got on Sunday. Watching that game. I don't know how to process it. I don't know. Like, in my opinion, there was no conceivable way for the way this Green Bay team has looked to have beaten the Dallas Cowboys and how they've looked.
Yeah.
But it happened. They came back down 14 points, scored 17 unanswered to beat one of the best teams in the league. and now they sit at 4-6, and they basically need to win out to have a chance at this. If they win out, they would finish 11-6. You could probably afford to lose maybe 2 games, maybe. The way that the NFC wild card is, you could probably afford to get in at 9-8, but I don't know, man. They've got to really get things clicking quickly. And weirdly, I have them winning this game against the Titans. Green Bay are 3-point favorites. I think that this Titans team is good but not great. And if you can beat a great team like Dallas, then I think you can definitely beat this Titans team. But I don't know. It's chaos season. Who you got, man?
Listen, I think just go ahead, put your Packer hat back on, grab your Chiefs hat out of the attic. Man, listen, I think it was just a case of a bad matchup. Like, I don't think anybody would have expected the Packers to have 207 rushing yards on Sunday. Like in general, I think you could have told that, like, you could have picked any two teams and been like, the Packers are playing the Bengals this week, or the Packers are playing the Raiders this week. And nobody would have been like, well, the Packers will probably have over 200 yards rushing.
But it's also not that far out of the question when you have a backfield like Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Like, that's a solid tandem, and you have Matt LaFleur, who is from the Kyle Shanahan tree. So, like, it's not that ridiculous to think that.
Right, but it's not something they've ever done. You know, like, they've never
To
been
an extent,
a run-dominant team unless while Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. Let me say that. Because when Jordan Love is in, I think they're like, please just don't give him the ball too many times.
Yeah.
So I think that Dallas probably was caught off guard, and then I don't know if they just weren't able to adjust or what, but, like, they just got the pants whooped on Sunday. I think it was more of a matchup issue to me, watching that this is a Dallas Cowboys team that gave up 240 yards rushing to the Bears before the bye, then didn't fix the issue somehow during the bye, and they were like, you know what? It's okay. We'll still give up over 200 yards on the ground, but this time to the Packers, like, it just felt weird. I don't foresee that happening against a Titans defense that is one of the top defenses in the league. Don't you, like, patronizingly bob your head?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
So, yeah, I just think that give me the Titans in this one. Titans right now are the second best run defense in the league.
I mean, that's fair, but what I've been saying all year about this Packers offense is that they're missing the big play, deep threat guy, and Christian Watson on Sunday looked like that. He had 4 receptions for over 100 yards. That's it.
If you have a solid secondary,
if you're getting over 100 yards on only 4 receptions, like, you're involved in the deep game for sure.
Yeah.
So that's that. If he can step up and be that guy, I think this Packers offense might look a little different moving forward.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: this game got a lot more interesting after Sunday than it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I agree. Yeah. Now, I don't know that that'll translate to actual primetime, but
that's fair. That's fair.
And do we know? Sorry. Okay, this does matter. Do we know who's going to start for the Titans on Sunday at quarterback?
I do not know.
Was it Malik this past week?
Tannehill started the game.
Okay, good.
But Malik finished it, I believe.
Oh.
I don't know what the reasoning is there. Tannehill's not on the injury report. I don't see him. So I'm assuming everything's all good. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay.
Let me just double check that.
Wait, I'm on the wrong week.
Yeah, he's not on the injury report.
Okay. Well, as long as Ryan Tannehill is starting, then yeah, give me the Titans. The Titans of Nashville.
Well, let's move over to some Sunday action. We've got the Carolina Panthers making their way up to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 12-point favorites in this game. I, again, don't know what to make of what happened last Thursday night with the Panthers over the Falcons. Bad weather, maybe. I don't think this Panthers team is good necessarily. I think that they're fine, but
Marcus Mariota was a train wreck.
yeah. I think I've got to go Ravens here. Ravens are clearly the better team. There's not much to say about this Panthers team. Who you got, man?
Same. Yeah, I'm going Ravens. Yeah, there's no reason for me to pick the Panthers.
Is there any chance that the Panthers win this one?
No. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Does that happen? Just to be geographic with it.
I thought very similarly about last week's game with the Panthers.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the talent gap between the Falcons and the Ravens is pretty significant.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying I don't know what to do with this team.
Yeah. Who knows?
Speaking of the Falcons, we've got the Chicago Bears coming down to ATL to face the Atlanta Falcons. This Bears team, man, I think they're figuring some things out, at least on the offensive side. They have put up a lot of points over the last couple of weeks. They can't get it done. They end up losing close games, but they're putting up a lot of points.
It's the highest over-under for the week at 50.
Is it really the highest over-under?
Yeah, the second. I mean,
Why?
It's tied with the Chiefs and Chargers, who are also at 50. Because who's going to play defense in this game?
Well, that's
not
fair.
the Bears and
That's
not the
fair.
Falcons. These teams
That's
are going to
fair.
have. Yeah, 50 is like, I might take the over.
I want to know what the over-under game time is on this, because this might be the quickest game of the week.
30 minutes. It'll be done. We'll be done. Somehow
Just
they're going to play
nothing but running the ball.
Yep. Running the ball and Marcus Mariota throwing barrel roll passes.
Yeah, the Falcons are 3-point favorites in this one, and I think that's a little disrespectful to the Bears, just because of the way the Bears' offense has been looking. Maybe if Chicago didn't trade away their two best defensive players, they could be sitting a lot better. But they're sitting at 3-7. I've picked the Bears in this one because of the way the offense looks. I'm still not a Justin Fields believer. I want to see him do it for a full season. I want to see that consistency week in, week out. He's getting there. He's definitely improving from where I viewed him going into the season. So just keep at it, Justin. Maybe I'll stop calling you a bum. But for now, you're still in bum territory. Go get it done on Sunday, though, against the Falcons. Who you got, man?
Still in bum territory.
Still in bum territory.
That's what I like to hear. So far, podcast, we're off to nothing but disagreements. I'm taking the Falcons, and I think it's,
No, we're not, because we agreed on the Ravens.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I have it. You went in a different order than me, so yeah,
gotcha.
So yeah, okay, you're right. But I'm going with the Falcons, and I think that it's probably significant amount of fandom here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you on the fact that I think that the Bears are trending in the right direction. This is a game that I would pick based on who's at home field. That's it. These two teams to me are in very similar spots. I think the Falcons' defense is slightly better than the Bears.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if AJ Terrell is back or not this week. That's huge for the Falcons. That's been a huge myth that we've had.
It's just tough because of how banged up that defense has been.
Yes. I don't know how we're gonna deal with a mobile quarterback. The Falcons haven't had to play a Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson type quarterback yet this year. So it'll be interesting to see how this defense does against a primary running quarterback. On the Justin Fields issue, I will say I have been impressed with him the past few weeks. Yeah, I'm with you that
That's fair.
they have changed the way he plays and allowed him to be more of a runner. I mean, he went from first few games of the season, he had 28 rushing yards in a game, 20, 47, 52, 47, and then 88, 82, 60 in a down game against Dallas, 178, 147. Like,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And with that is going to come better passing numbers because teams are more worried about you running the ball. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Um, I my view of Justin Fields has changed because it's what he is doing. Like, I still don't view Justin Fields as a good passer, but he is absolutely maybe the best running quarterback in the league. And that, I mean, like, I don't know who else to put. I mean, obviously Lamar, you have to,
I think Lamar is the most electric,
yeah.
but,
But
yeah.
But Lamar can also throw it significantly better than Justin can.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
unless Justin can get that, I'm not going to give him much, you know, much laud as a passer, but he is a fantastic runner, and that's been huge for them to be able to maximize his talent in that way. But all that to say, this to me, I really looked at who was the home game. Like, when I look at these teams, these are both teams that run the ball very efficiently, very well, and can't stop the run. So it's gonna be a hard game to watch for me as a fan of defense, because it's gonna be like, please somebody tackle those guys. Like, just get in the way, I guess. Um, so yeah, don't start either of these defenses this week. But it's going to be a lot of ground time on this game. But I'm going to take the Falcons just because it's at home. If it were in Soldier Field, then I would probably pick the Bears.
Yeah, that's fair. Fun fact: both Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields are in the top 15 rushers in the league in terms of yards.
Wow.
Do you want to take a guess as to which is higher?
I feel like Justin's been running more than Lamar has this year.
There
So I would say
there are only 5 players in the National Football League that have more rushing yards than Justin Fields.
That's wild, man.
Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, Dameon Pierce.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Justin Fields is 6th in rushing yards. Now he's done it in one extra game. Those top 5 only played 9 games. He's played 10. But he has the second highest, I think. Second highest average.
Yeah.
Lamar's at
7.4.
Justin Fields is 7.2.
Yeah, quarterbacks' yards per average is usually higher than running backs for those mobile guys. But hey, speaking of mobile quarterbacks, Matt Ryan this week, man.
Matty Wheels out there.
Yeah, man. Vintage. What's
Yeah.
crazy is that I forget how long his run was. 39,
39,
40,
I believe.
39 yards. It's longer than any of Marcus Mariota's runs this season.
Yeah. It's longer than a lot of running backs runs.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, what's another crazy stat here? Khalil Herbert, Chicago's running back, is right up there in the top 15 as well. And he's averaging 6 yards a carry. He has 643 yards. Justin Fields has 749 yards. They have, what is that? 1,400 yards between the two of them. Almost 1,400 yards. That's a scary rushing attack you've got to face going up against Chicago.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
If they had any semblance of a passing attack, that could easily be the best offense in football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easily.
I'm with you. Like, I think that now, again, it's kind of that, like, you would have to take away from the rushing attack to give to the passing attack. But
to an extent, yeah, but even if you had, I don't know, if Justin Fields was capable of, catching a defense off guard and tossing one 40, 50 yards down the field more often than he is, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a scary potential there in Chicago.
If only they had that defense that they traded away.
Yeah. Well, let's go up to Buffalo. We've got the Cleveland Browns heading into town to take on the Buffalo Bills. Bills coming off that overtime loss to the Vikings. A little bit of a tough loss for them. I think they're in a really weird spot. Josh Allen hasn't been playing his best over the last few weeks. I put him under review last week. I could have done the same thing again this week, just the way that he's been playing. That's not something that we expect out of him. We all view him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best, and he has not been playing well. They do get a nice bounce back opportunity here against a Cleveland Browns team that is just not good. Talented, but not good. Bills 8.5-point favorites. That's who I'm rolling with. I've still got faith in this Buffalo team. They lost to a good team in Minnesota, and they lost on some weird, like you said earlier, unlucky plays. So I'm not terribly worried about them yet. But there is a little mini trend happening with Josh Allen's play, and I think that he's got to be better. He's got to step up. He's got to start making better decisions. He's got to stop being reckless with some of his passing choices, leading to the interceptions, leading to the turnovers. So a little concerned, but I'm not worried yet. Who you got, man?
Yeah, I wonder how much that injury that he had factored into it, because he looked pretty
know, man.
solid for most of it, but I wonder if it was just like overuse, like over the course of the game, if it got worse and he was trying to maybe put extra on it, or it just wasn't. It didn't feel right. Who knows? There's no telling, and he's not going to tell us. Not going to tell us. He won't even come on our show. I guess I could send him a tweet and see if he'll come on the show next week. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. But I'm with you. I think that the Bills are just the better team. Even what are we? Is next week? Do we get Masseuse on the loose next week?
2 weeks. Week 13, I believe.
Okay.
Let me double check that. Masseuse on the loose.
I thought it was.
Yes, week 13, Browns Texans. That is the week that Deshaun happens to come back to face his old team in Houston, because the NFL cares more about money than they do their integrity.
Yeah, you don't have to hide your kids and hide your wife for 2 more weeks. You got 2 more weeks. But anyway, yeah, this Browns team, they don't have any chutzpah right now.
Yep.
So other than Nicholas Chubb is the chutzpah.
Hey, he's doing everything he can. The man's almost got 1,000 yards already.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster. So yeah, I got the Bills. Not much of a need to talk.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum about this game.
Well, let's go out to Indianapolis, where there's a new coach in town. Old DJ Jazzy Jeff out there getting the win on Sundays. The Philadelphia Eagles coming into town. This is going to be a much different story than the game against the Raiders, I think. Much tougher opponent.
Yeah.
We've got Eagles coming off their loss to the Commanders. I don't think they're feeling too great right now. I think they're very upset with the way that game turned out, and I think they're going to come in with a little bit of a vengeance facing this Indianapolis Colts team. Philadelphia Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. I could argue that could be twice the amount. I think the Eagles are better in most facets. However, I did very much think about picking the Colts in this one.
Yeah.
Very much think about it. And it's because of Jeff Saturday. That team looked a lot different on Sunday.
Yes.
A lot different. And I think that says a lot about the regime that they were under for 8 weeks or 9 weeks, however many it was. And getting
years leading up to this.
Right. And I'm not gonna say that Jeff Saturday is the right guy at this point, but he might be the right guy right now. He has made this team look a lot better, and I'm hopeful for him. I want to see him have a very good record down the stretch here, potentially put himself in the running for that job next season, because that team looked good. That's the Colts team I think that we all expected to see, but I can't do it this week. I think the Eagles are just too good.
Yeah.
Who you got, man?
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor had his second highest total yards for the season. He had 147. Week 1, he had 160. Sorry. Week 1, he had 161. And but he had his highest average yards per attempt. He had 6.68 yards per attempt this week.
Mm.
And I think it just goes to show that, like, Saturday was like, hey, let's use the guy who was the league leading rusher, because week 8 he had 16 attempts. Week 7, 10 attempts. Week 2, 9 attempts. Like, week 3 and 4 he had 20 attempts each, which is like, that's fine, I guess, but it just doesn't make sense to me that Frank Reich wasn't using him like he should. And so Jeff Saturday came in and was like, hey, let's give the ball to that guy. I'm with you that I don't necessarily know if he can do it for a full season.
Right.
But for him to at least come in and do that, just use common sense and say, no, we're not starting Sam Ehlinger anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna start Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan completed 75% of his passes on Sunday. He was 21 for 28. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, again, they were playing the Raiders, and the Raiders are terrible, but the Eagles are not. So I'm with you. I'm picking the Eagles, but I'm with you again that if the Eagles had not lost to the Commies, I almost called them by their former name, but had not lost to the Commies this week, I probably would pick them this week as a trap game.
I'm with you.
Into Indy. And it still could be. Like,
Yeah.
it honestly still could be a game that the Colts win because the game plan is totally different. This Colts team, you don't really know what to expect. And if the Eagles couldn't stop the run against Washington, I don't see any reason they would be able to stop the run against this Indy team.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be tough. Indy has a much better rush attack for sure.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'm with you that I'm gonna roll with the Colts. I mean, I'm gonna roll with the Eagles, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts shock the world and Jeff Saturday gets win number 2 over the 8-1 Eagles.
Yeah,
would be awesome.
If he does that, I think he's gonna silence a lot of haters.
Yeah,
he got a lot of flack for taking that job, which I don't think that's necessarily. He doesn't deserve it. If anybody deserves it, it's Jim Irsay.
Oh yeah,
but also, I think what we saw on Sunday was proof that he potentially has the goods, and let's maybe give him a chance before we just jump on, the berating Jeff Saturday bandwagon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's go up to Foxborough, where we have the New York Jets flying their way into New England to take on the Patriots. Fun fact, if the season ended today, all 4 teams from the AFC East would be in the playoffs.
What?
Yes.
That's
the
crazy.
Patriots currently sit as the 7th seed, and the Miami Dolphins are the division leader in the AFC East because of the slip by Buffalo. This is going to be a fun race to follow. I believe let me check the standings real quick, but I believe the Dolphins are 7-3, I think. Yes, Dolphins are 7-3. The New England Patriots are 5-4. So they are a game and a half back. A game and a half separates 1 through 4 in that division right now. That's going to be a fun race to follow. I don't think the Patriots have a shot, but the other 3 teams absolutely do. And so with that being said, I'm picking the Jets in this game. For whatever reason, Vegas has New England as the favorites, 3-point favorites.
Yeah.
Say what you want, but the Jets are the much better team. I think the Patriots are the much better coached team. However, they have not executed well on the field, and a lot of that falls on Mac Jones. Mac Jones has not looked good. We have not seen the progression that we wanted to see in year 2 for him, and I don't think I've seen that from Zach Wilson either. I just think there's a lot more talent on this Jets team than there is on this Patriots team. So I'm going with the defense that's been killer, and I'm rolling with New York. Who you got, man?
Well, I'm gonna look at this article really quick before I make my pick. So
You getting some
yeah,
inside information over there?
I am. I'm gonna let you do this because I'm gonna give you this information as well before you lock in your pick.
Okay.
Because Bill Belichick is 14-5 after a bye week.
Okay.
I was wondering, I was like, there must be some reason that Vegas is picking the Jets. I mean the Pats as the favorite to win this game.
How many of those years did he have Tom Brady, though?
I mean, that's fair.
It's a different
Um,
team.
I don't know.
I mean, I do think there is some truth to weird trends like that. Just like I said last year with the Colts, always struggling in Jacksonville for whatever reason. They've lost 10 years in a row in Jacksonville. They can't get it done. So there is truth to weird things like that, but I don't know, man. I think that it's a different team. It's a different team.
Yeah. Sorry, that article is old. Since then, they have added some, so he's now 15-7 after the bye week, which is still pretty impressive. But
I mean, that
yeah,
means that he's gone 1-3 since that article.
Right.
So
no, I understand that.
1-2, 1-2.
So I mean, I'm with you. I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think that the Jets are the better team, but it does scare me that it's Bill Belichick coming off a bye against Zach Wilson, who I do not think very highly of.
Right.
But I also don't know what the Patriots have offensively that they can do to the Jets. I think this
Right.
Jets defense is so solid. So I'm gonna stick with the Jets.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is the Jets defense. I'm with you. I don't love Zach Wilson. I wouldn't even say I like Zach Wilson. I think he's maybe in the bottom 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league. But there's a lot of talent around him, which helps him out. They do have, even with Breece Hall being out for the rest of the season, they do have a strong running game in Michael Carter and James Robinson. So I think there's a lot of good things for this Jets team, and I've got them winning. I think they're going to get it done.
Oh, I kind of want to retroactively change our legit or counterfeit. You brought up Zach Wilson. Is Justin Fields the best quarterback from that draft class?
Oh, don't do that to me.
I
Just
mean,
wait and see what he does this week, and what Zach Wilson does this week, and maybe we can get into that next week.
Trevor
when I'm
Lawrence.
better prepared, maybe, but don't make me. You're setting me up to pick Justin Fields, and I do not
know.
like that.
It's weird, man. It's weird. He's not the best passer, but I think his running might make up for it. Anyway,
Just means he should switch positions.
nah.
He is 100% a liability as a passer.
That's true.
100% a liability. Well, let's go down to New Orleans, where we have the Los Angeles Rams heading into town to take on the New Orleans Saints. Both these teams are sputtering. These are two teams that a lot of people in the media said would be a lot better, and that's why you can't trust the experts, folks. I don't know how.
That's why you come to us, is because you can't trust experts.
I don't know how you quote unquote become an expert in analyzing like this, because more times than not, experts are wrong. But New Orleans are 4-point favorites. I don't know who to pick in this game. This is two garbage teams. I don't feel good picking either one of them. I have a question mark beside my pick. I have the Rams over the Saints because someone's got to win. But who you got, man?
I can't believe I'm about to do this.
You're picking the Saints.
Not only am I picking the Saints, but I'm going to convince you to pick the Saints.
You're not going to convince me to.
Cooper Kupp is gone, man.
I know he's gone.
Cooper Kupp is gone.
I-
What do the
I
Rams
literally-
have on offense?
I literally just put in a waiver for Allen Robinson because of that.
He's gone. He's not coming back. They don't have a run game. Matt Stafford refuses to throw the ball to anyone else. And when he does, it's not good.
He's gonna
So-
have to throw it to somebody, and I think Allen Robinson's going to be the guy that gets a lot of those.
He's going to throw it to the other team. That's who he's going to throw it to. Watch. He's going to get pressured because he doesn't. He's going to look for his favorite white boy.
what
and
is-
he's not going to be out there.
But here's my counterpoint to this is what is New Orleans going to do? This is a team that just scored 10 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is really good when TJ Watt plays.
Nah, Minka Fitzpatrick, who is arguably their second best player, was gone.
Okay, that's fair. But they still have Alvin Kamara against a Steelers defense that is better, period, than this Rams defense. This Rams defense is putrid. Everything about this Rams team, like, that's the only reason I'm picking the Saints. It's one, it's in New Orleans. Two, Cooper Kupp is gone. And Sean McVay's, I guess, good. I don't really know. I don't think any of us really know if Sean McVay is great or not. But
Yeah, I agree with that.
what is he? They're going to change their game plan to what?
I don't
Their
know.
offensive line is terrible. They can't block for Matt Stafford. So Matt Stafford had to just throw the ball to Cooper Kupp because, like Justin Jefferson, he's going to just come down with it.
Right.
They don't have other guys who can do that. They don't have a running game. So what New Orleans is going to do is they're going to say, go ahead, Matt Stafford. We're going to rush you. We're going to rush. We might blitz every play. They might just blitz every play and say, we dare you to either run the ball or throw it. We don't really care because we're probably going to get a couple interceptions. Taysom Hill can come in and do something cute and run an 85-yard touchdown for no reason. I can't believe I've talked this long about the Saints.
It's because
but-
you're convincing yourself. That's what you gotta do.
No,
You
it's
gotta
just
convince yourself to pick them.
well, to me, it's just that the Rams are so bad. Like at this point,
So are the
with
Saints,
no
though.
Cooper Kupp-
So are the Saints.
you're telling me, like you don't have to tell me how bad the Saints are. I'm very well aware, but I do think that the Saints are better than the Rams without Cooper Kupp. I'm taking New Orleans.
Wow. Well, I'm sticking with the Rams because I don't
I
like.
want to be right.
I
I don't
don't
want to be
like-
right, but I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be right, but I don't want to be. And here's what it's gonna do. So here's what doing this podcast has done to me. I only root for my picks now. I'm like last night you're rooting for the commies and you're like, man, I really hope. And I'm like, no, I want to be right. I want the Eagles to win this game. So that means that Sunday at 3 whatever, when this game is down to it and these teams are just puking all over each other in ineptitude, I'm going to be rooting for the Saints. I'm going to feel dirty. I might throw up. Now. Just talking about
for me, I don't care about my picks when Sunday comes around. Like I do, but I don't. Like I just want to see I want to see the good storylines that I care about, such as the Commanders and Taylor Heineke and the Lions. I picked the Bears in that game, but I was sitting there rooting for the Lions because I love that team and I want to see them succeed.
Yeah, I was too. I was also rooting for the Lions, even though I picked the
Anyways, speaking of the Lions,
I probably still will be rooting for the Rams.
Let's go up to New York, technically New Jersey, where we have the Detroit Lions. I can officially say it. They've matched their win total from last year, and this is a new era in Detroit.
I thought we said you could say that when they pass.
No, we said match. The Detroit Lions heading in to New York to take on the New York Giants. The 7-2.
Technically, it's not a new era if it's the same record.
The 7-2. I'm gonna keep saying it's a new era. The 7-2 New York Football Giants. Currently, the Giants are 3-point favorites, which I think is a little disrespectful to the Giants against this Lions team that is 3-6 and has not looked good for a lot of the games. However, I am not a New York believer. I don't think They are what a 7-2 team should be. I think they're very good. I think they're very scrappy. I think they will fight all the way to the final minute. But I am picking the Detroit Lions to win this game. They've won 2 in a row, man. They're coming off back-to-back wins against division opponents. I'm doing it. This is the time. They're going to go out and make a statement against this New York Giants team on Sunday. And people are going to be recognizing Detroit Lions. And then, according to you, we can officially call it a new era because they will have surpassed last year's win total. Who you got, man?
This is Blake from the future coming to let you know that it's still not a new era in Detroit. This is coming from Sunday. It is about 6:45. I just finished eating dinner and wanted to just come and let you know that the Lions still bad. Still bad. All right, I'm going back to the future now.
Back to the past?
No, Back to the Future. That was future Blake. He was going back to the future.
Gotcha.
Came to the past. Now he went back to the future. That's why they made those movies.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you've seen them.
I have seen them.
I know you're not like a big movie guy.
Oh yeah,
so
not a big one at all.
I know you've only seen like 8 movies.
Never seen the classics.
Nope. Never seen a single Netflix. Don't even know what that means. Anyway,
you picking the Giants?
Yeah, I'm picking the Giants. Are you crazy? Saquon Barkley's going to have 300 rushing yards on Sunday. Who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him?
That didn't matter on Sunday against the Bears.
Have to come out and
that didn't matter on Sunday against the Bears.
What do you mean it didn't matter?
The Bears ran all over them. They still won the game.
That's also because the Bears have negative defense. Their defense is concave. That's what.
Are you a believer in this Giants defense?
Yes.
No.
More so than.
No. I mean that's fair. That's fair. But like, I don't know, man. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a little spicy with this one.
You can keep that spice over there. That's some rank seasoning over there.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm feeling it. This is the turning point in Detroit's season. Back-to-back wins, got the ball rolling. They're gonna come out, gonna put on a show against New York. I'm feeling it. I'm just feeling it.
Well, I think it might have been something you ate.
Let's go down to Houston, where we have the Washington Commanders, clearly the best team in football because they just beat the 8-0 team. The Washington Commanders heading down to Houston to take on the worst team in the league, in the Houston Texans. Washington, only 3-point favorites. That's probably fair because Washington is Washington. But maybe let's give them some credit. Let's throw some respect on Washington's name. This is again a kind of a new era for the Commanders. They have gone 4-1 over the last 5 games. They started out the season 1-4, and they've gone 4-1 since then to sit at 5-5. I like where they're at, man. And they just imagine what people would be saying if they had beat the Vikings 2 weeks ago before going into Philly and beating the Eagles, because they had a chance. And it, as much as I love Taylor Heineke, it is on him for the loss against the Vikings. He threw a bad interception at a bad moment. But like I said to you off the pod earlier, I think that he's got a little bit of Brett Favre in him. He talked last night about, or I think the commentators talked about Green Bay being his favorite team growing up, which means he was probably a big Brett Favre fan. I think he's got a little bit of that in him, that borderline flirting with recklessness and confidence that's going to get you in trouble sometimes. And Taylor Heineke is not nearly as talented as Brett Favre, so more times than not, it's probably going to get him in trouble. But if they had gone into Minnesota and beaten the Vikings, then the next week followed up with a win against the Eagles, this could be a drastically different season for this Washington Commanders team. But I say all that. They're facing the Texans. They're obviously going to get the win here. If they lose to the Texans, then I don't know what I'm going to do. That will be the ultimate chaos season moment, going from beating the Eagles to losing to the Texans in back-to-back weeks. But anything can happen. If you want to go see some fun offense from the Commanders, tickets are as low as $16 because nobody wants to see the Texans right now.
Terrible.
Who you got, man?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm rolling with the commies.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not crazy. The Texans are so bad, man. Just so bad.
But they also make all of their opponents look bad.
They do. I mean, like, props to them. I don't know how they do it. But it's like, hey, we're not good at football, and you aren't either today. Suck it. So it's just very matter. There's a very matter of fact about it. They're not. They're just like it's just the way it is. So yeah, I don't know. Part of me now, part of me wants to take the Texans. They got a decent thing going on there with Damian Pierce.
The commies spicy.
It is a home game for the Texans. Nah, Texans, they're just too inept. The commies offense is good enough. They found a sweet spot with Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. I'm gonna stick with the commies. Yeah. But fun fact about this one, did you know that Taylor Heineke is 29 years old?
I did not know that. I would have guessed like 27, 20,
I would have
maybe
guessed
even
like
28.
24. I thought he was like a young buck. I thought he was a young man. He's kind of old.
Yeah.
He's the same age as Marcus Mariota,
which
is weird.
Well, it's because he floated around through the spring leagues before.
He's a floater.
Yeah, but he's a good floater.
He is.
Let's go out to Denver, where we have the Las Vegas Raiders heading into town to take on the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, 2.5-point favorites. This is another one where it's like, do I have to pick somebody? Can they both just like lose? Because these teams are terrible. These teams suck. Like, I hate that we have to pick one of these teams to win a game because I don't have faith in either one of them getting it done.
But like you say, these teams suck. The Denver Broncos are the best scoring defense in the league. They give up 16
They're
points
also
per
probably the worst scoring offense in the league.
I think they are the worst scoring offense in the league. I sent it in the Discord that if they had scored 18 points in all of their games, they would be 8-1 right now.
Do you know how many points? You know how many points they averaged last year with Drew Lock as their quarterback? 20 points a game.
Wow. Man.
They traded for a guy and paid him $245 million to go out and be worse than Drew Lock.
Okay, again, we don't think
it's the coach, right?
We think it's the coach. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm going with the Broncos.
You're going with the Broncos. I've also got the Broncos. I don't feel good about it though. I don't like having to pick either one of these teams. And you know who I really want to pick, but I can't because they also have a terrible coach.
Yeah. I don't understand how that guy woke up with a job today.
I don't know how.
Like you just got out-coached by
a high school
Peyton Manning's center.
By a high school coach.
Yes.
A guy who actually lost his last game as a high school coach. And now his next game as an NFL coach, he beats you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing, man. Like
we all knew it was going to happen though because he had to go out in there and win that game because what was it like 2 or 3 weeks ago he tweeted out that the Raiders are awful. And his first game as a head coach is against this Raiders team. He had to get that win.
Goes out and thumps them, man. Hilarious. Props to Jeff Saturday. He should have been both of our best of the booth, man.
I thought about it. I did think about it. I think that going into Monday night, he was going to be my best of the booth.
Yeah.
And then that game happened the way it did. So, yeah, I've also got the Broncos. If Josh McDaniels is still the head coach going into next season, I don't know what to do.
He has dirt on Roger Goodell.
But Al Davis came out and said that I believe his quote was, "Rome wasn't built in a day." That was his quote defending Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, Rome was also not built by an orangutan with with dyslexia, and that's what you have in Josh McDaniels.
I don't.
Orangutan with dyslexia.
I don't understand how he got a second job as a coach, and it's lasted 9 weeks at this point, 10 weeks at this point. Let's move over to this is the spicy game of the week, in my opinion. The spicy game of the week. Spice meter is all the way over. We've got the Dallas Cowboys heading up to Minneapolis to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Currently, somehow, the Dallas Cowboys on the road are 1-point favorites. I don't know what games Vegas has been watching, but this Vikings team just beat the Super Bowl favorite in the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
And it wasn't just luck. There was a lot of skill. They earned that victory. And the Cowboys just lost to a team that has been terrible. A team that was on a 5-game losing streak. They go out and lose to in the Green Bay Packers. Now, granted, it wasn't Lambeau Field. That's tough place to play historically. But I'm not going to go there and say the Cowboys should have lost that game. They absolutely should have won and won handily, and they didn't. Yep. They didn't get the job done, and now they got to go into Minnesota where that stadium is going to be rocking. I know it's going to be rocking because I was there for the Week 1 game against the Packers, and that stadium got quite loud. And now this team is 8-1. It's going to be even louder for Minnesota. I don't see any way that Dallas should be 1-point favorites, and I've got the Vikings winning this game. Because I'm really close to thinking the Vikings are the best team in football. If it wasn't for that loss to Philly, that bad loss to Philly in Week 2, I would be way more on board with saying this team is the best team in football.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially because their only like quality win is that win on Sunday. And I'm not going to discredit it, but they were real close to losing that game. So it's hard to be like they're definitively the best team. I'm with you.
Yes.
But yeah, I like this Cowboys team, but I'm scared to pick them right now because
I'm with
the Vikings have Dalvin Cook, and like if you are smart, and I feel like Kevin O'Connell has proven so far that he's a pretty smart coach.
Yeah.
Right now, in my opinion, Coach of the Year should go to this man.
Yes.
But
KOC.
I think that the Vikings are going to take this one. I'm with you. I'm Kirk Thuggins all the way. I think that he deserves a lot of credit. Let me give the credit to Justin Jefferson, who we might be watching the next great wide receiver for the next decade playing football right now. So the best receiver since Calvin Johnson to lace him up.
Yeah.
So give me Minnesota in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel very good about where this team is at currently. And I think you're right. I think Kevin O'Connell absolutely should be, at this point, 10 weeks into the season, Coach of the Year. I mean, looking phenomenal. But let's go out to Pittsburgh, where we have the Cincinnati Bengals heading into town to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Currently on the road, Cincy are 4.5-point favorites. That's probably fair. The Steelers team is kind of right on the struggle bus. They are good at times, but far from being a quote-unquote good team. And this Cincy team, while they have had their struggles, they are still a very good team, and a team that should be looked at as a potential playoff team. I've got to go with the Bengals, man. I don't care if TJ Watt's back. I don't care what he's going to do. I think that I am worried for Joe Burrow a little bit. I think that he's going to be on the ground some in this game because that offensive line still has some problems. But Bengals Bengals, I think, are in a good spot. Even without Jamar Chase currently, I think they're still all right. So I've got the Bengals. Who you got, man?
I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I just don't know what to do with the Steelers team. I think Najee Harris
Yeah.
looks like he might be potentially a bust. Like, I hate to say it.
Ooh.
Maybe not a bust, but he doesn't look like what we expected him to be after his rookie season.
Yeah. I think
And then Kenny Pickett is just not great.
you say that, but like
I'm not saying he can't be. I'm just saying he's not right now. Like,
I think
he,
that
you have to lean on him, you're going to lose.
this is gonna sound way better than I intended to, which is weird saying that, but I think what you're seeing in Kenny Pickett statistically is very similar to Peyton Manning's rookie season, where Peyton Manning threw a lot of picks his rookie season. He was not quote unquote a good quarterback his rookie season. Kenny Pickett has thrown a lot of picks, but I don't think that one, they're necessarily all on him, and I think that he has made a lot of very good throws as well. I think there's potential there for him to be a good quarterback. And again, I don't know why I'm defending him so much because I didn't even like him coming out of college.
You have stock in Kenny Pickett. You have to. You have to have bought Kenny Pickett crypto, and you're trying to send it to the moon by hyping him up on our podcast.
I'm just saying, like, when I watch him, I don't see a bad quarterback out there. Like, I just don't. I think that he occasionally will make a bad decision, and also more times than not has bad luck with the picks that he's thrown.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's that bad of a quarterback when I watch him with the eye test, which is not how I feel about Zach Wilson, and the jury's still out on Trevor Lawrence. And I don't. Maybe Kenny Pickett's better than both of them, in my opinion, at this point, which is weird saying. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know that any of these guys you can definitively say is gonna have a great career.
No, I agree with you on that, and that's why I was saying, like, this is gonna sound way better than I intended to. I don't intend to say Pickett is anywhere near being in the same stratosphere as Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is to me like one of my top 3 favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
And Pickett, if Pickett ever gets close to that, it'll be a miracle for him.
Right.
But I think that he can be a very good starting quarterback in the NFL, potentially.
Maybe. We'll see.
But that is enough. That's enough Kenny Pickett love out of my mouth for this podcast. Let's move on.
Kenny Pickett love in my mouth.
Let's move on to Sunday Night Football, the flex game. This is the game that got flexed to Sunday Night Football.
Flex.
I don't know what it was initially. I don't remember what it was supposed to be. But we're getting the Chargers 2 weeks in a row on Sunday night. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs heading out to SoFi Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Currently on the road, Kansas City are 6.5-point favorites. I think that's fair given where these two teams are. Chargers are just banged up. I don't think they're a bad team. I think they're just dealing with a lot of injury, and they're making the most of it. They're still going out there and being competitive and winning games occasionally, but I don't see them doing it against this team. This Kansas City team is too good. I have not done my power rankings yet for our most powerful rankings, community power rankings that we do in our Discord. But I might put Kansas City number 1 at this point. After this weekend with the Bills, looking how they looked, and looking how they've looked the last couple weeks, the Eagles losing inexplicably to the Washington Commanders. I think this Chiefs team might be the most well-rounded team, which is weird because I don't think they have a stellar defense. I think they have a good enough defense and a very good offense. But who you got, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs. I just think that the Chargers are a little too banged up, and honestly, I'm starting to question Justin Herbert. I think that maybe we jumped the gun on like putting him up there as like a top 3 QB.
He also hasn't had the stability at wide receiver though. Like his wide receivers have been. His wide receivers have been banged up. I mean, Keenan Allen every single week is will he play, won't he play? And Mike Williams has been out the last couple weeks as well. So
that's true.
There's no stability there.
I'll hold off my
Yeah.
my judgment on him. I'll give him the year. Yeah, this is especially his offensive line has been banged up, and anybody with a bad offensive line is gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got the Chiefs in this one. I do think that right now, health wise, that the Chiefs are just better. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers win this game. I think this game could definitely be close. 6.5 could be a little disrespectful for the talent I feel like is on this Chargers team. Um, but
Yeah.
but also the Chiefs, I mean, can just be unbelievable. But I would think that they would be without Juju this week, and Valdez Scantling, was he concussed as well? Which is
Probably.
huge that if they're going to be without those two guys.
Let me check the injury report. Juju is questionable. Mecole Hardman is questionable. That's who I think you were thinking of, is Mecole. Which that's a big deal.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, I think this game has potential to be a lot closer, which is probably why they flexed it. Is because these are two really tough teams. I think if the Chargers were just slightly healthier, I'd probably pick them since it's at home. But I think that the Chiefs currently are better the way things sit.
Yeah, the Chargers are missing so many guys. Mike Williams, questionable. Keenan Allen, questionable. J.C. Jackson obviously is out for the year. I believe he's out for the year. He's at least on injured reserve. Joey Bosa, injured reserve. Jalen Guyton, who was a solid third option there at wide receiver, he is on injured reserve. There's so many, a lot of their other offensive linemen, so many guys that they're just dealing with the injury bug. And it's unfortunate because that team does look talented. I mean, I think they'll be all right, but
yeah, that was my Super Bowl pick, man.
I mean, I had them going pretty far as well, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's still time. Maybe they can, get healthy. Still, 8 more weeks, 7 more weeks.
I think how they've played despite the injuries has been really like,
yes.
I'm like, wow, okay, this team was really good. Could you imagine how good they'd be if everybody was healthy? That's crazy.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And Austin Eckler, I mean, he's been a force for that offense.
Get well soon, Chargers.
Yeah.
Get well soon.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's jump over to Monday night. We have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City. Mexico City, I believe, is where that famous game from, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago now, the Rams and Chiefs, that was maybe the best regular season football game of my life. That was where game was supposed to be played, and they had to move it for whatever reason. But anyways, Mexico City is hosting Monday Night Football. We get the San Francisco 49ers, Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals, I still don't know what's going on with that team. The 49ers, I think, are absolutely one of the best teams in the NFC. That offense is rolling and electric, and that's why they're 8-point favorites against this Cardinals team. And that's who I'm going with, is San Francisco, because why would I pick the Cardinals? Who you got, man?
Yes, for this game, we are going to be watching the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to play in Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Tickets are as low as $238. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think that they're probably the better team. There's just too many question marks to me with the Cardinals. They do not do anything very well. So I think I probably will stick with the 49ers. 49ers look pretty good. I like them. Their team is very good, and they play the good defense and run the ball good. They had a Christian McCaffrey. He's a very good football player. Yeah. Sí. Bueno. I have nothing else to say about the 49ers.
I can't tell if your international voices are racist or hilarious. I feel like there's.
Hey, this is different because this is a guest speaker. This is not. This is, and it's Mexico City. It's not like I'm making fun of anybody.
I'm not saying you're making fun of it. It's just...
Listen. I think if you heard someone talking like this, you probably would not think, "Oh man, look at that! Listen to that guy. He's probably from Norway. He probably sounds like a samurai from Norway." You kind of have an idea where this person is from. So I think it's just factual. I think it's factual, historical accuracy.
Okay.
You watch an actor in a movie who plays a character.
Okay.
You don't think he's not offensive?
No, I'm not saying it's offensive. It's not offensive to me. It might be to some people.
Listen, I do not mean it offensively at all. It is just for fun, to celebrate the culture of Mexico City. Bueno, listen, my favorite kind of food, my favorite restaurant to go to, La Cabaña de Don Juan, right across the street from my house. I go there once a week. I get the grilled chicken nachos. It's delicious. I love it.
Well, that's good for you, man. So we're both rolling with 49ers.
Yeah, all that to say, I'm going with the 49ers.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
49.
Well, that does it for week 11. Your team's on bye this week. I remembered to do the bye teams. Teams on bye. You got the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Seattle Seahawks and Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming back from their game over in Munich. They're getting that international bye week. But yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a good week. We got some good games on the horizon to look forward to, for sure.
Yeah, we got where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 we disagree on. Everything else we stand pat. So that probably means we'll both get 2 of them. That's the way it usually works. Is we both get 2 of them right, and the other one, and we
man.
We meet in the middle.
I'm getting all 4. I'm taking back my rightful place atop the standings.
There ain't no way that the Packers are beating the Titans. There ain't no way that the Rams are beating the Saints. The other 2, I'm less confident in. The Lions beating the Giants is entirely possible.
You're more confident in the Titans beating the Packers than you are the Giants beating the Lions?
Yes. I am very high on this Titans team. I'm very low on that Packers team. You know I'm very high on that Titans team. You know I like them. I think they're good. I think very highly of them.
All right.
Derrick Henry is going to be rumbling and bumbling on Sunday.
All right. Okay. As always, we appreciate you tuning in and listening to us. If you're hanging out on YouTube, thank you for watching us on YouTube. Go ahead and click that. Subscribe button and make sure you got the notifications turned on. That way you know every single time we go live, every single Tuesday. But we appreciate you hanging out. If you listen to us on the road, focus on the road. Don't focus on us. What are you doing? Pay attention to the cars in front of you. Don't listen to these 2 bumbling fools. But we appreciate you listening to us. If you want, you can follow us on our socials that we don't use. You can come hop into the Discord that we're active in every single minute of every single day, it seems like.
That's where the party is.
That's definitely where the party is when it comes to our social media. But as always, we appreciate it. We love you. Thank you. And I think that's that.